Hey publishers, this is Darcy Piedmont with Above the Tree Line, and I want to just take a quick moment to introduce you to a new tool that we have. It's still in beta testing. It's called Edelweiss 360. And we named it Edelweiss 360 because it really is a panoramic view that gives you kind of a really wide scope of everything that's going on in Edelweiss with your catalogs, your titles, your collections, even with the accounts and individuals that you share your catalogs with. It also gives you kind of the big picture, and it gives you a lot of detail. So this little brief introduction is just to kind of give you the authority and courage to go in there and start clicking around. And as I mentioned, we are still in beta testing, and so you'll notice there will be some changes in the coming months, but the data is very strong. So we invite you to participate and let us know what you think. Also, the two main goals of Edelweiss 360 is to both report back to you how your catalogs and titles are doing. This is something that publishers have been asking us for. We already have the data. We already know who's opened your catalog, who's downloaded a title, who's shelved a title or written a note about a title. So we're going to now share that information with you. And then the second function is really to treat Edelweiss 360 as an opportunity for prospecting. And that means kind of finding people who are already maybe looking at your catalogs, maybe downloading your titles, writing reviews on your titles, but they're not yet in your contact lists. And so it gives you an opportunity to find out who is out there and who's interested and reach them. And finally, we are also developing, and this is happening through the summer, and we're excited about it, we're developing communities and kind of rolling out a broader view of what communities might be on Edelweiss. There are already affiliated communities, and you guys probably know this, Barnes & Noble, ABA, etc. But now we're going to let people join in communities based on genre or interest, and give you a little bit of an opportunity to make sure that you're putting specific kinds of titles in the hands of specific kinds of readers and influencers. So the reason that this is kind of a generic overview that you're going to see me go through is because it's so data specific that we don't really feel comfortable showing a specific publisher's data to a broad audience. And instead, we just invite you, once we turn it on, to kind of have at it and play around and see how your numbers look. So, are you reaching your influencers on Edelweiss? There are over 135,000 book professionals on Edelweiss, and they're looking for titles. And so 360 gives you an idea of who they are, where they are, and how to contact them. Edelweiss 360, as I mentioned, it gives you a panoramic view of your titles, your catalogs, and it also allows you to monitor and track specific titles. So we all know that like the first week of sales for a specific title is the biggest week. So if there's a new title that you're really excited about and it's coming out, you can track that title and make sure that there's a lot of buzz being created right in those initial weeks of a pub date or right after you've posted it as a review copy. And there are a lot of graphs and charts on 360, and we've tried to make them as user-friendly as possible. If you hover over headings, it often will tell you the exact information that little chart or graph shows. Again, we invite you to just kind of go in there and click around and have fun with it. To get started, you'll find your Edelweiss 360 center right in the upper left-hand corner. And in fact, it looks a little prettier than this now. This is an older image, but it's in the upper left-hand corner of your home page. But 360 can also be accessed from a catalog or a collection, an individual title, or even when looking at a contact. So you can get there in a lot of different ways depending on what it is that you'd like to do. On the Edelweiss 360 Central homepage, that's like your command center where you can see things that you've recently viewed. And there's also this opportunity to track either catalogs or titles, even accounts and users. And again, if you have a title that you're really excited about or a catalog that you've just put out and you want to kind of keep track of how it's doing, you can do that. And there's this running ticker that shows you the interaction that other people are having with that title, that collection, that catalog. You can also tag. So just as we can tag in other areas of Edelweiss, you can also tag things in 360 and then search by that tag and see how things are going. So for example, if it's a couple of sci-fi books that you want to tag and keep track of the interaction, you're welcome to do that. You can even tag accounts, individuals, whatever it is that you might want to keep track of. And then what a nice view from up here, the catalogs. You can search for your own catalogs and you'll get a lot of summary information, including how your catalog is doing, how many people have opened it and looked at it, and how it compares with other catalogs that have recently been made active for all readers. It will also give you summary by title. And the titles, you'll also be able to see if they are downloadable. You'll be able to see what kind of activity is going on with your review copies. And regardless of whether or not they're a review copy, the titles will show you who has shelved it, who's reviewed it, who's written a note about it. So that gives you a lot of kind of information about how the title's doing in the market. And then communities is coming soon. We'll have more information for that later in the summer. But essentially, this also gives you this potential for finding out who are the readers who are interested in a certain genre and how can I reach them? How can I contact them? And users, you can actually find out quite a lot of information. So until this moment, we've talked a little bit more about reporting, and now it's that idea of prospecting, of reaching out and finding out who are the users who are going to be influencers for me, for my titles. And then after you see the users, you can also look at their bigger accounts. So let's say it's a member of a bookstore, but this is the children's buyer. You want to know who the adult buyer is. Edelweiss 360 gives you an opportunity to go from the user to the account, or start with the account and go down to the user. Even gives you an opportunity to engage authors and get them using Edelweiss a little bit more, and they can maybe see, if you are interested and if you give them permission to do it, they can see how their titles are doing. So try it out. Get in there, and just for navigation's sake, when you open that 360 Central, you can click into catalogs and search for the name of a particular catalog. You can check out different users. If you know that you're trying to find out what a certain user is, how they're interacting, you can search by name. You can also find the little 360 symbol throughout your user page, through your home page, and just start having fun with it. So I will send you, anyone who's interested, I can send you this information page and you can continue to read on your own. But we want to invite you to browse, click, move around, hover over headings, try to engage yourselves in the 360 experience, and then reach out to me and ask some questions. And we can always set up a webinar and talk about your data specifically. So until there's more documentation, have fun with it and hope to see you in Edelweiss.